Alright, hello everyone. It has been for freaking ever since I have uploaded something, and that is mostly due to not hardware issues, but software issues. My program is giving me a lot more trouble than it's worth. But anyway, I don't want this to be yet another lame update that is really just like the last one. So I'm going to get to the subject of this video, which is the Bionicle comics. This is actually a review that I've really been wanting to do for a while now, and I figure, hey, what the heck, I'm not uploading anything. I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers think I'm dead. So, let's get started. I'm going to start with at least one comic of each year, of at least the 9 years of Bionicle. Okay, I don't really count 2010, because, I mean, come on. They had 6 midget sets. That was it. 2010, in my opinion, does not count as part of Bionicle. Really, it only had the 6 sets and the comics. That's it. So, anyway, let's get started. 2001. Now, these comics, oh my gosh, these are beautiful. Look at this. I don't want my controller. 2000, you know, my favorite years were 2001 and 2003. 2003 is at the top, but it's the reason, these comics are the reason why it was really close to 2001 being my favorite year. I mean, look at the detail in these comics. Really, these, I think, are the best comics. Look at Liwa here. He's a fine example, if my camera will focus on him very well. Come on. There we go. So, you see here, we have a little bit of shine. Like a little bit of shine here. It looks very natural, like the sun is actually reflecting off of his joints, but then he has all this dirt and grit, you know, he looks alive, and then the soft tones of his highlights or whatever. Golly's the same way. This, I believe, is my favorite image out of all of Bionicle. I'm surprised it's not huge on the internet, because, I mean, come on, it's Golly and Liwa facing some Nui Jag. I mean, it's totally awesome. You'll notice that the Nui Jag do not have any special shine to them like the Toa, which, you know, I kind of relate to, you know, the Toa. They just came out of their canisters, they were all clean and shiny, but they've been running around Matanui for a while, so they kind of need a bath, you know, but the Nui Jag have always been on Matanui, and so naturally they don't have much of a shine. And there's the Bionicle logo. It changes every so often. But the detail is just exquisite. I really love the detail. Everybody is well proportioned, and yeah, these are definitely my favorite comics. Let me let you in on something. I have every single comic from 2001 to 2003. Not joking. They are in varying degrees of quality. You know, some of them are pretty darn torn up. But nevertheless, I'm very proud of my 2001 to 2003 comic collection. I mean, look at that. That's just beautiful, the detail and everything. There are some cons to these, although I think the pros far outweigh the cons a lot. But really, I think that they're kind of funny. This con, IDS 5621 pointed out, it's in the very first comic. Here is the, here's the cover. Fantastic cover. It should be used a lot more often. But, so, here it is. There was one issue with proportion here, and that is with Kopaka and Pohatu. See, they've just come up on the other Toamata, and as you can see, Kopaka is like a Harry Potter troll. He has this big, huge body and a little coconut head, and then Pohatu, I don't know what the deal is with Pohatu, but his mask is all weird shaped and all that. And if you can see the ball joints on his shoulders, they should both be black. Those little joints there, right there. Sorry, my camera's not focusing in. But one is tan and the other is brown, when they should really both be black. Kind of weird. Definitely a con. Definitely not very cool. But there are some other images. See, you can see his ball joint there is black. But yeah. The detail in the 2001 to 2002 comics are absolutely amazing. But here's a comic from this is another con. Here's another con, which is actually kind of funny. But hang on, let me find it. Oh, come on. Here we are. Okay, so here the Toamata have just turned into the Toanuva. The end of the Toa. Oh, very dramatic like. But here's the thing. When they first turn into the Toa Nuva, here's Liwa right here. Now, you can tell that it's Liwa because anybody who has the Kanohi Miru Nuva will know that's Liwa's mask because of the little tooth things. Come on, the page is moving, sorry. But they'll see the little tooth things at the top. Dang it, sorry, my camera, I'm holding my camera, so it keeps shaking. But there are the tooth things up there, and also you notice his arms are the same as Toa Liwa. If you look at Toa Liwa and Toa Tahu, the arm pieces are like Liwa's arm pieces are backwards from Tahu's. And so that's Liwa's arm. There it shows Liwa again. He's still red. He's still red. And there's him again. That is blatantly Liwa's mask, and it is still red. Can you believe that? Oh, and it gets better. They don't just show him in Tahu's colors here. There's Liwa again, and he's brown. I don't know if the artist was like, screw it, I don't really care, it's just a bunch of toys, or was actually trying to put it in a joke, but they, for whatever reason, they could not get Liwa's color right. Thank goodness they got the front cover right, because if they got Liwa red or brown or if any of the colors are wrong on the front cover, I think LEGO would be getting some serious issues. I mean, come on. So those are pretty much the cons in the 2001 to 2002 comics. So that's about it. They both have the same, the great detail and the grit and the shine and all that. But everything changes in 2003. This was like my first Bionicle. This is my first classic Bionicle comic. I found it in a thrift store. But as you can see, first of all, the art, you'll notice, is very different. The shiny spots are not as natural looking. They look like little explosions on the Toa's armor. They just look big explosions. And also, you'll notice that there isn't grit. It looks like there's more like an oily coat on the Toa. It's very odd. Yeah, an oily coat. That's how I would describe it. And also, just the general art is different. Let me try to get a side-by-side issue. Or a side-by-side shot. So here is 2003, and here is 2000... Oh, that's not as good. I always have to use the shot with Liwa and Gali. I think it's the best example. But as you can see, the art is like night and day. No grit, but a lot of oil. And then grit, no oil, and no more natural shiny spots. So as you can see, little shiny spot there, and then 2003 shiny spot, if it'll focus. There we go. So, very different art. I've noticed that every 2 to 3 years, the Bionicle art changes. Okay, so, however, I have not noticed any color issues. For some reason, and what's funny is that it was just that one issue in 2002 that had the color issues. But here's some more, pictures of the art. Very cool. There's Kopaka getting his butt kicked by Vorak. I don't know if you'll notice it, but he has like a little green scar on him. I looked in the previous pages, and I don't know where he got that. Because right here, there's Lirak, who should be the one who gives people green scars, as we've seen from the movie. And then there's Kopaka. Kablam! Kopaka pulled a cool one on him. Pun not originally intended. But then there's Kopaka doing stuff. He's got Churak. And then here comes Vorak. And there was no cut. Vorak doesn't strike Kopaka and give him that green scar. So I don't know where the heck that green scar came from. But overall, I don't care for the art as much. As you can see, like here's Gali and her shoulder piece. That might just be, not depth perception, but it looks a little big to me. For her, but that could just be because she's, her arm is coming towards us. But then if you look here, she still has the humongous shoulder pieces. Dadgum, hang on. Let me rearrange my camera. There we go, that's a little bit better. But still, the shoulder pieces still look giant on her. And she looks a little bit disproportionate, like this area here looks a little too big. And her head just looks a little too small. So there are a couple of proportion issues in the 2003 and 4 comics. But I don't think it's anything major. And again, this could just be my personal preference. So nothing big. Here is an issue from 2004. It's basically the same art. I think they got some of the proportions a little bit better. The Kama's shoulder piece still looks enormous, but, you know, the legs and the feet here, I think, are really good. They still have the weird shiny spots. Like here, I kind of like it, the variation. We have a little bit of glimmer here, and then an actual shiny spot there. But it's still, I still don't like them. I still don't like the shiny spots. They still look like gigantic explosions on his face. I think Harrison Taylor said he was mind blown. That was I showed Harrison Taylor this, and he's like, "Oh, he's mind blown." So yeah, and but I don't think the 2003 and 2004 comics are that bad. I think they're pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna be. I definitely align myself with, or not align myself, but I definitely don't think any of the comics can beat 2001, 2002. But there's some more cover art, not cover art, but actual pictures. Still very cool, very good comics. I think the art is still very good. Again, personal preference. I just like all that grit and stuff. Other people might like the 2004 comics more. So that's 2003 and 2004. Let's go to 2005. Things get a little different. Here is Norik and Iruni. They still have kind of the oily spots, but I mean, as you can see, there's some serious proportion issues because sorry, not Raltic. I have a character. Whenever I see that mask, I think of my character that has that mask and call him Raltic. But Norik here, like his head. It's kind of like Kopaka in the first issue of Bionicle, where he had this gigantic body, but this tiny little head. And then behind him, we have Iruni, who looks like a freaking giant. Okay, I mean, look at him. Iruni looks freaking huge compared to Norik. So we have some proportion issues there. But I don't think they last. Like right here, I think that's Kreka. Yeah, that's Kreka. Fighting Iruni there. Of course, when you think about it, Kreka was supposed to be huge. So, but there's Iruni being cool, fighting and all that. Sorry, my camera focuses automatically, so it's not wanting to focus in properly. Let me see if that helps. Come on. Dadgum. I want to give you all some good shots. So, there we go. There we go. So there's some art there. Still very cool. Alright, let's move on. So that's 2005. Now, 2005 I think had its own art because if, in case you didn't notice, there are no little explosions on anybody's armor. Nobody has little tiny explosions. It's more along the lines of just a little glimmer. Not a glimmer, but, you know, some, just a shimmer. We'll call it a shimmer. But again, the only explosions are really just, you know, like right there. But again, there aren't any shiny explosions for like light reflecting explosions. I mean, I'm looking right now and I see none of that. So 2005, they removed the little shiny spots, shiny explosions. So there you have it. Alright, now we go to 2006. Now, I seriously do not like 2006. And again, that's personal preference. I know a friend who likes the 2006 comics, but yeah, you know, for me, the art just seems a little too sloppy. Like right here, we have Thok, and, you know, the spine is okay. The spine in this shot doesn't bother me. What bothers me in this cover art is the Zammersphere launcher. I mean, look at his arm. I think there's some proportion issues. Because the Zammersphere, we've always seen the Zammersphere, and it's supposed to be pretty darn big, but right here, it looks like just a bunch of spikes that he's holding that is completely tiny compared to his hand. Because look at his hand there. It's huge, and then we have the launcher that is freaking tiny. So, and then, you know, we have his toes there, which, I mean, I guess they're different, you know, I don't know, I just don't like that shot with the toes, but again, that's just personal preference. Let's take a look at some of the inside art. Oh yeah, this kind of pisses me off. This is another thing that pisses me off with the 2006 comics, is look right here. Okay, now tell me where Thok's spine is. Where is his spine? He has no spine now, and neither does Redak up here. Redak right up here does not have a spine. Okay, what the heck? So, and plus, like, again, Zammersphere is just a bunch of little spikes. And so there's just stuff like that. I really am not a fan of the 2006 comics. Or 2007. 2007 is kind of the same, but we'll get to that in a moment. You know, the coloring, it's very dark. I have to say, the coloring is pretty good, and the shading, it's very dark, which was, like, the theme in 2006. 2006 was supposed to be much darker, so I do like that everything is much darker and not, it's less light, you know? I'm being redundant here. I'm saying no light in several different forms. Anyway, but it's just the art, the way they make the Skakti, or sorry, the Baraka, and the heroes and everything, it just doesn't look right. Like here, like right this here. Like this right here. That, just, it's sloppy. It's supposed to be the Zammersphere, and here we just have a couple of little, spikes, and then a little orb in the middle. I think the Zammersphere is done very poorly. But again, that's just personal preference. Again, I know a guy who actually likes these comics. He likes the art, so I guess I won't necessarily put that as a con, but it comes close to a con in my opinion. But so here's just another shot facing off against Axon, which you'll notice Axon, the rod on his axe rod looks very tiny compared to his arm. Looks like a stick. I think they need to make it a little bit thicker, in my opinion. Here's some more shots of Redak and Thawk. Man, Redak and Thawk were very popular in the very first 2006 comics. But here's some more shots. Oh man, here's the Toa and Ninka here. Oh, there they are. Very cool. But again, they're very well. I guess it's okay to be sloppy here because they were trying to make the Toa and Ninka kind of secret when this came out. You know, it's supposed to be all mystery and get you all excited for getting the sets and all. So I won't say anything. But 2007 is pretty much the same. Sloppy art, in my opinion. You know, like Jala here, his eyes look a little askew, and all that. Come on, focus. My camera's not wanting to focus. Go on. Focus. There we go. Alright. I've had this camera for a while now. I know a couple of tricks. But, again, the art just looks kind of sloppy, in my opinion. This image right here actually isn't that bad. Of course, that right there is kind of a flaw. Right there, it looks like he's holding it by the... Where the heck is the hilt? Where's the hilt of the sword? He's holding an invisible hilt, and part of his arm, his hand, is invisible as well. Well, I think that's a flaw. That's a flaw! Get gone! So, here's some more art. That's a very dramatic scene. I think that's where Mari Nui is getting destroyed. Yeah, because there's Voi Nui going down, and then destroying Mari Nui. So, that scene right there, that just looks disgusting. Again, Jala does not have a hand, and the Kordak blaster. Come on, focus. Focus. But again, Jala does not have a hand holding his sword, and the Kordak blaster just looked like crap. Jala looks like he has a huge Gauss cannon. Or not a Gauss cannon, sorry, I've been playing Halo. But has, you know, gigantic Gatling gun, or a grenade launcher or something, and then Matoro just doesn't have anything. And plus, Matoro's legs look a little screwed up. They look a little screwed up. But, yeah, by the way, that's the Mask of Life right there. Anybody who doesn't know what the 2006/2007 Mask of Life looks like in the comics, that's what it looks like. It looks like a gigantic squash with some scratches and some spikes on the top. Here's another image with it. Again, gigantic squash, a big fat squash with some marks and spikes on top. But so that's 2006 and 2007. Personally, not a big fan. If you like 2006 and 2007, good for you. I still think they would look a lot better if they used the 2001 and 2 art forms. Gosh, I can't talk today, because that's me every day. But anyway, so let's get to 2008. 2008, they definitely did better. Look here. This is Takanuva guarding Gali, and one thing that made me use this cover art for an example for this review is I noticed last minute, look at Gali. Look at her eyes. She actually looks surprised. I love it that they put in that expression. She actually looks like she has some expression. It's not just some generic mask, a mask that has just a generic face on it. She actually looks surprised. And but there's Takanuva. You notice that the art definitely takes a step up from 2006. It's kind of like 2005. There aren't any big explosions. You know, it's a shimmer. They go back to the shimmer here, like right there. Come on. There we go. All right. So you can see the little bits of shimmer there, and all the pieces look right. They all look like they should be in real life. It's not like 2006 where everything's just kind of, you know, a little scribbly thing and that's it. Everything is well proportioned, I think. And there's Krika. He has a bit of crap on him, bit of vine and stuff. Let's take a look inside. Let's see what the art looks like inside. This is pretty good right here. Tahu flying. You can see Antros behind him. Come on, focus. Focus! Focus. Again, I'm trying to give you all a good shot. There we go. Alright, so there's Tahu flying around. There's Antros behind him. One thing that I like about this is there's this distance shot. Now, in most comics with Bionicle, any distance shots, they would just be like colored spikes with some hairs on the side to make arms. It's like, if it were, even in 2002 and stuff, like, I think it's supposed to be, like, Pohatu here. He would probably just be a little spike with some little arm things on the side, and he'd be brown. That's it. Or orange or whatever. So that's basic. I think they did pretty good with the distance shot there, actually making them discernible. And here's another shot of them going down the, oh, what was the name of that big structure they were trying to get into? Oh, I'll remember it at the end of the video. But let's move on. Let's move on. There's a little advertisement. Here's another great art shot, I think. I still don't think it's as good as 2001 and all, but it's still very good, I think. I think everything is better proportioned than 2001 and 2. Because, I mean, here's Liwa. You know, focus. Get my camera. Okay, so there's Liwa. He's still very well proportioned. You can immediately tell what the armor and all is. And then there's the Axelara T9. All very cool. Some stuff going on there. So that's 2008. It does not, the art doesn't really change in 2009 and 2010. But I figure, you know, I'll at least show you something from 2009. Here's a nice action scene in 2009. Gresh and Strak versus the Skrull. Very cool. Basically the same art. More discernible. I mean, even in the distance, the Skrull, I think, are well proportioned. Everything is well proportioned. I think 2009 and 2008, those comics are the kings of just, I mean, everything looks like it's the proper size in real life. You know, and there's Strak's axe. I can actually tell it's an axe. If it were in 2006, it would probably just be a little, you know, that'd be it. So let's take a look at some art. Oh man, classic. Little not a silhouette, but faded stuff to show what Gresh just did. Awesome move, right there. There's Malum with his posse. There we go. So I kind of like it where they have his that's not the light from my ceiling light. I can see that his hand is a little off, but overall that's a very small thing. Overall, this is a very good comic. Just the comic art and everything. And here's another thing from 2009. It was the movie comic. It actually special edition movie edition, special movie edition. Which basically you watch the movie and you pretty much know what's in the comic. But nevertheless, it's very cool. It's very cool. So, alright, that basically sums it up for the review that I have on the Bionicle comics. If there is anything any of you would love to add, say so in the comments. I love it when people get in friendly conversations in the comments section. I think this would be a great subject for conversation. You know, list what images were your favorite, or If you have another con or another pro that you'd like to point out, say so in the comments. And, favorite year of Bionicle and all that stuff. Just say so in the comments, y'all. Again, I hope that you enjoyed the video. And please rate, subscribe, and comment. And I will see y'all next time. Don't know when my next stop motion is going to come out due to my program issues. I actually have one made, but again, audio issues. Hoping to get that fixed soon, by the way. Actually, lately I've been working on some really big projects, so I'm probably not going to get anything out for another month or so. Maybe. Don't have any faith in my stop motion. For now, I'm probably going to do a couple of reviews, just to keep my channel alive. So I guess, hope you look forward to all that. I will see y'all later.